Hey everyone, this is Manly Badass here, and welcome to Crimson Grey. Crimson Grey is a thriller visual novel about a depressed young man and the potential Yandere of his dreams. John had always thought of himself as a stable person. Stability worked out well when he was just trying not to let the little things get him down. It wasn't so great when everything was crumbling around him. The entire world started seeming grey and flat. Then he began wondering if all that stability would kill him, and if he would care when it did. There weren't any highs or lows anymore. Whatever happened to him, John didn't feel happy or sad. He just... Hey, what are you doing spacing out, man? You're a real head case these days, John. You gonna flow weight on us? Sorry, just distracted. You may notice the world is grey, which is basically what the title drop is. Our main character sees things as grey because he's very depressed. A moment later, he started drifting away again. Even his friends' voices were nothing but buzzing in his ears, meaningless sounds echoing in his hollow shell. They weren't even really his friends. They were friends with the happy-go-lucky person he'd been at the beginning of high school. These days, they joked about him being no fun, but it was more than a joke. They'd get tired of him, find someone else, and then he'd be alone. He wasn't sure whether or not that would be worse. Whoa, is that creepy chick staring at us? I think she is. Who is that anyway? Lizzie Dawes, I think. In our year, right? John, doesn't she have math with you or something? I don't know, two generic friends. You tell me. It took John a second to even register the question. They were staring at some girl who was staring back at them. A little bit of color in the entire grey world. She looked the same as all the other girls at her school. Shyer, maybe. She could probably hear them talking about her. He wanted to say something, but kept silent. Damn, she's really staring. Is she staring at us or John? I think it's him. You think she's a stalker? Maybe. Not yet. Yeah, those are some crazy eyes. Haha, better watch out, John. You're a real sad sack these days, but you could do better than her. Shut up. The words were past his lips before he could stop them. Why'd he have to open his mouth now, of all times? But he couldn't let them keep talking about her like that. People called him creepy or crazy all the time, and he hated it. But after those two words, he just stood there like an idiot. Even when something mattered to him, he couldn't pull himself together. What's wrong with you, man? Don't say things like that about people you don't know. She's just hanging out up here like we are. No? She gave us some serious crazy eyes? Looking normal right now. Just leave her alone, okay? She hasn't done anything to you. Sheesh, okay, man. You think she's gonna fall in love with you as her handsome protector or something? Huh, that'd be just like John. Are these guys matching my friends? No, they're just generic classmates number 1 and 2. You wanna talk to that crazy girl bear? Yes, we're heading back to class. To wait up, man. The way her eyes moved. John thought that she was focused on him so intensely that she might not have even heard what the others said. Did it even bother her? He wished she could be like that. Instead of the smallest of things sending him crashing into a state of worthlessness. But maybe she was like him, just capable of hiding it. John cleared his throat and walked up to check on her. Hey, sorry about them. They can be assholes sometimes. Well, I guess I don't have a lot to say. Sorry if we bothered you. John slunk away and cursed his own idiocy. She'd been fine without him. He just made everything worse. There had been something hard in her eyes. A strength he didn't have. He had been probably projecting all his weakness onto her in the first place. She wasn't like him. Wasn't broken. She could shrug off the things his friends had said and get on with her life. At least that meant she could shrug off his annoyance too. She'd probably just forget all about him. Color? Interesting. Thank you. You're so kind. Such a kind person. The kindest person. The only person. Boy, that escalated real quickly. I'm glad there's color back in the world, but you You can make a normal facial expression now. I found you. I finally found you. I found you, found you, found you. Crimson Gray. What? Thank you for partially revealing bad things will happen, title drop. The teacher's voice was incomprehensible, but John knew he must be picking up on some level. He wasn't sure how, but even though he stumbled through every day, he was doing okay in school. He could seem normal whenever he wanted to, it just didn't feel worth it. That was almost the worst part. He seemed normal even though nothing was normal anymore. It wouldn't ever be normal again. What did Miss Smith say? High-functioning depression? Such an awful, empty phrase. At least class was over now. He could go home, sleepwalk through his assignment, and then fall unconscious. At least for a few hours, he could... Then he became aware of her. She was watching him. Maybe she wanted to thank him. No, he was being stupid. He'd done nothing worth thanking. More likely she wanted something from him. Or, most likely of all, maybe she didn't care about him and he was imagining the whole thing. She was still staring, though. First, I will make a save point. And then I will question my life choices, as I am given a huge range of choices here. And as far as I know how this game works, I think it doesn't have a pure choice system. It's a bit more of like a, like a flag point system where previous choices will kind of affect later choices. So it's, even if I save here and reload, it won't drastically change right away. That's what I'm assuming anyway. So lose her in the hallways, ignore her, glare at her, smile at her, and go talk to her. Well, we're all in. Let's go talk to her. Can I help you? Hi, I'm Manly Badass Hero. You might remember me from YouTube. If not, you should subscribe today. This is our standard introduction. If this is about before, I'm sorry. I just wanted to help. She looked really uncomfortable. Of course, she probably hated him as much as everyone else. Drowning in shame, John decided to cut his losses. Well, sorry to bother you. I'll be going. He needed to get to his appointment anyway. He didn't want Miss Smith getting mad at him again. Miss Smith was one of the only people John could focus on. He wasn't sure how much good she actually did to him aside from prescribing medicine, but at least she tried to help. John, you're not looking so bad today. Did something good happen? A boy your age ought to be more interested in girls. Are you dating someone? No, I can't focus on people. And the one I might be potentially dating in the future may or may not murder me depending on what route we end up going, so... Interesting life. Maybe I could prescribe you something for that. We don't have any on hand now, but I could get it quickly. That's the advantage of having Koi Tech in town. Prescribe something for my dating life? I don't want to take this medicine anymore. I don't think it's working. The Paxitine, but that's the first one you've really responded to. I feel worse. Everything is so gray. Voices just echo. Can I go back to a generic medicine? John, you need to understand you are deeply clinically depressed. It's my professional opinion that you should under no conditions go off your medication. When you're getting used to a medication, there can be some initial side effects. Sometimes things have to get worse before they can get better. Okay? Okay. All he heard was that he was too broken for any drug to fix. He was so worthless even the newest drugs from Koitek didn't do anything. I'll renew your Paxitine prescription and see about getting you a complimentary drug. We'll figure this out yet, John. Now, why don't you lie down over there and we can begin our session? Good. Get comfortable. Did anything special happen during the day today? No. It was a normal day. Except for that title drop happening in the middle of my life. That was a little weird. The therapy session quickly fell away into meaningless buzz. For a short time at least, he didn't feel the emptiness. Finally, or too soon, it was over. Miss Smith told him he was doing well and sent him on his way. Jan slumped back home. The house was empty, like it always was. Ever since his mother left, his father spent all his time working. He did his homework. He ate. He cleaned the dishes. He sat down in front of the TV and stared at it without turning it on. Somehow he dragged himself into bed and fell asleep. The routine used to be comforting, but now it was starting to erode his sanity. His mind had to crack eventually. Maybe it was already happening. For a second he thought he saw a girl out the window. Oh no. But no, there was nothing. Of course there wasn't. He really was losing it. Another day. He had to face it somehow. It seemed impossible until the moment he finally stumbled into class. School was the usual mindless buzz. There was a job fair announced in third period, as if that meant anything at all. Most everyone in their school would either go to work for Koitek, move away, or stay in town and become unemployed. John wondered which one of those would happen to him, but from a distance, as if he was thinking about some person he barely knew. His grades were good enough to get into Koitek, but the process was so competitive. No, he didn't have enough energy for that. He couldn't imagine moving away, looking for a job in a strange city. Most mornings, the most he could imagine was surviving the day. But his father wouldn't support him, and his mother didn't want him. Once he graduated, there'd be no way he could stay with either of them. What would happen to him then? Would he just become homeless? Sit there on the street begging for change till one night he froze to death? Maybe that was all he deserved. John, are you alright? Sorry, sir, I'm paying attention. Honestly. I didn't ask that. I asked if you were alright. Thank you, teacher. I'm fine. Well, be sure to talk to the counselor if you're feeling bad, alright? We're lucky to have someone like Miss Smith with us. A lot of focus on Miss Smith here. He had to keep it together. He remembered the lessons, but people were starting to think something was wrong. His control was slipping. He had enough time to visit his locker in between periods. There was more Paxatine there. He still had an extra dose left for the day. His locker was on the bottom row, so he always had to bend down, and there was a piece of paper sitting in the middle of his locker. Cheer up. That was all it said. Nothing on the backside, no other clues. Probably a girl's handwriting. Who left it? I'm appreciative of this note. Simple, but effective. Hey, did you see anyone messing with my locker? Huh? Did you get something to get stolen? There's way too many guys around here for me to notice. It might have been a girl leaving a note. Like a love note? Keep dreaming, John. You think any girl's gonna love your sorry ass? Gee whiz, classmate. Generic person. What got into you? A bad day playing Call of Duty or something? No. Of course no one could love him. So you didn't see anyone. Okay. Thanks. Hey John, you gonna tell me she's a Canadian? What? I ain't back to class. See you later. And she's really hot, right? Your imaginary girlfriend sounds amazing. Jesus. How'd that escalate? It's like, oh, I found this note. You see anybody around here? Like, no, you terrible person. How dare you ask me about this note? I lost 2 seconds of my life thanks to you. John knew he should probably just take some more Paxatine and head back to class, yet he was still holding on to the paper. He wasn't sure why. It really could be a prank, one of the guys trying to trick him. If so, it would probably be followed by another fake note. Asking him to come out under that stupid confession tree, where they'd let him wait and then laugh at him. But for just a moment he saw the girl watching him. Could have been her. You have pretty eyes. You know, when they aren't doing that anime death stare. Then again, I'm kind of used to the anime death stare. It's alright. I guess we can tolerate it. By the time he got to class, John had a new theory. She felt sorry for him. He must have looked pretty pathetic, and she recognized his misguided good intentions enough to feel pity. The rest of the school day passed in more of a blur than usual. He might be delusional, but part of John still hoped it wasn't a prank. He headed to his locker. not daring to imagine anything, and there was another paper waiting there for him. They shouldn't say those things about you. Well, thank you, that also is a nice note. Although we have scary music playing. That sounds straight out of like Halloween. Oh, shit. It even looked like the same person's handwriting. The first had been beautiful calligraphy. This one was a hurried scrawl. If it was all a prank, he no longer had any idea where they were going with this. He'd already been beating himself up over saying the wrong thing, so this was too much for John. He headed straight home to get some sleep before he cracked completely. The next day, John went as early as possible and approached his locker anxiously. He wasn't sure what he wanted to find. There was no note this time. There was a chocolate heart wrapped in foil, set in the exact center of the bottom of his locker. John stared at it for a while, then slipped it into his pocket and headed to class, even though he knew he would be far too early. There was no way he could eat it. If it really was a prank, he might have slipped a laxative or something inside of it. That was the kind of thing his friends thought was funny. Dang evil friends. But if it was that girl... It didn't matter now. What mattered was that someone clearly knew his locker combination and could get whenever they wanted. That could be a real problem. He knew he should come up with a solution before tomorrow, but what? Make another save. So we can either tell a teacher, tell Miss Smith. I don't trust Miss Smith right yet. We don't know much about her. Plus it's Smith spelt with a Y. Yeah. Try to keep watch on the lock, replace the lock. Let's leave a note, actually. That sounds a little... It's a little romantic. We'll leave another note. Like, hey, what's up? You want to, like, actually just text each other? Or, you know, use the AOL Instant Messenger? You know, we have put our little buddy icons. That'd be a little more simple. John cut a small sheet of paper from one of his notebooks. Wrote things on the inside and sent it in his locker. If it was a prank, not to throw the pranksters off. And if it was someone who meant well, hopefully they just take it as normal gratitude. He headed home, and once his homework was done, quickly fell asleep. The next morning, he thought he spotted someone outside his window. There was no one there. There was totally somebody there. When he opened his locker the next day, his note was gone. Making an effort to set the mystery of the locker aside, John went with his friends to the rooftop for lunch. They spread out on one side, enjoying the sight of the trees below. Midway from the meaningless conversation, John noticed that Lizzie was watching him from the far side of the roof. Her gaze was even more intense than before, so he uncomfortably tried to ignore her and focus on the conversation. Looks like the confession tree is in full bloom, huh? You really believe those stories? True love and all that? It works, man. I got a buddy who just graduated. He swears he got so much anime, confessing under it. Well, if he kept doing it, that's not true anime. I mean love, is it? Come on, people have been confessing for years. You seriously think everyone would confess under the tree if it did nothing? Nah, man, I think it's a tree of lust. It doesn't guarantee true love, just getting laid. With anime. If that was true, way more guys would be into it. But it's mostly girls from what I've seen. What do you think, John? I don't know. Don't be that way. Dream of a girl confessing under that tree, don't you? Yeah, like that crazy stalker chick. Make your heart go all aflutter if she confessed, wouldn't it? That tree's magic, man, I'm telling you. Even a sad sack like you could get lucky if you confess there. Why are you guys my friends again? It's not a friends act. Friends supposed to go over to like the gas station and drink slushies and stand outside, and then like the old people walk by and like, you damn teenagers drinking your slushies, and you're like, yeah, we're drinking slushies. What you gonna do about it? And then like you know, bro five each other and you like radical, and then you get your neon pink baseball caps and you roll down on your skateboards. They go pick up the latest copy of Pokemon Blue. You know, in the 90s. I miss the 90s. Don't be stupid. It's just a tree. Whoa, someone has panties, in a twist. Sorry, I got the anime disease. I just say it randomly now. I'm telling you, everyone goes there only because people like you keep telling these stories. There's nothing magic about that tree. People just believe it's special because everyone else says it is. Girls think the tree is romantic, so of course they're more likely to agree there. And guys would have to turn someone down in front of an audience. That's all it is. Shit, man, what is wrong with you today? With an attitude like that, you're never gonna get a girl. Huh, you insulted the tree, it'll cockblock you now. Ha 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 ha. That day, John couldn't get to his therapy appointment fast enough. Miss Smith smiled at him when he came in, but immediately saw he was unhappy. Are you okay, John? Perhaps you should be on a stronger formulation. You keep wanting to put me on stronger drugs, Miss Smith. No. Maybe I just need a shoulder. And a non-dick friends. Well, our session should make you feel better. Lie down and get comfortable. Miss Smith, does Paxitine have any visual side effects? I should hope not. Koitek has the highest of standards for every drug it puts out, and Paxitine is nearing its final clinical trials. Are you having any vision problems? John lay back and stared out the window. Was he really seeing differently, or was it all in his head? He stared a long time before he opened his mouth and just started talking. Everything just feels so gray. So you are having vision problems. Not literally gray. It's just the sky today. I remember when I was younger, I always thought clouds were beautiful. Now it's like there's just nothing there. Nothing that matters. I look up and I just don't care. That sounds more likely to be a mental issue then. Why don't you get more relaxed and talk about it? Taking a deep breath, John did his best. As usual, after talking with Miss Smith for long enough, he felt not better necessarily, but at least not miserable. The session went by in a flash and he had to head home. He shuffled through his routine easily enough, slept fitfully, and then returned to school barely more rested. But when he arrived, he found a huge crowd standing and staring. What's going on? You know that tree students had to confess under? That someone murdered the tree? The words made John shiver even though he wasn't entirely sure why. He shifted to look through the crowd and then he saw it. Dang, tree murder. Scott Chivo. A special kind for romance. Parts of the tree were still burning, but the rest was char, and ashes coated the ground near it. His throat was dry as if all the ashes were filling it. What happened? The cops are coming to check it out, but the chopped teacher said it looked like arson. Someone covered the tree in gasoline and burned it down. See, this is why we need cameras. I've been telling the principal for years, but does he listen to me? No, no one thinks. The words slid off his mind and John turned away while he was saying goodbye. Not entirely sure what he was doing, he still went straight to his locker. We all know who did it. When he opened his locker, he discovered a folded note in his exact center, like always. He stared at it for a long moment before unfolding with trembling hands. I didn't like that tree either. Sad emoji. He stared at the words that they were a foreign language, wishing he could avoid understanding the conclusion. I didn't like that tree either. It was her. It had to be. None of his friends would be that insane. And what would be the point of a prank like that? But what was the point for her? What did she think she had accomplished? Should he tell someone? But this wasn't exactly evidence, and he didn't really want to get her in that much of trouble. John decided he was being stupid like usual. He just needed to talk to her and find out exactly what was going on. Put an end to this. That day, whenever he was in the hallways, he could feel her eyes on him. With every passing moment, he became more sure that she had burned the tree down. He wondered if a normal person would be afraid now, but for him it would barely penetrate his numbness. He just wanted to find out what was wrong and put an end to it. It took until after school for him to find his chance. When the teacher handed out his assignments, he volunteered to clean the roof. John slipped onto the roof and headed to the far side. After a few seconds, he heard the door open again. He ignored it and instead climbed up to the tank. The upper area was meant to be blocked off, but the janitors had stopped putting up the ladder years ago. Whoa, boy! He turned, and to his shock, she was already come up the ladder behind him. Reaching the top, she held her hands close to her chest and shoveled her feet demurely. But there was a spark in her eyes. More of a spark than is on that tree. Hello, Lizzie. Are you never going to greet me? Hello. I said it. Why are you following me? Because could this girl really have burned down the tree? It didn't seem like she had it in her. Oh, just you wait. Were you the one leaving me notes in my locker? Yes. How did you know my combination? Because she watches you at every moment. I watched you. You left me a note. It was almost too much. I took it home, and I'll keep it forever, and ever, and ever. John realized he was in way over his head, yet his mouth was still moving, asking the inevitable question. Why did you burn it down? Because it was a stupid tree. You're so smart. You said it just right. It was an awful and stupid, and I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. It's all because of you, John. I could never do what needed to be done before. Now I can. She wasn't stable. She wasn't even close. What had he got himself into? I finally found you. You're the only one for me. Part of him knew that he should do something. Run away. Call for help. Yet, somehow he was being controlled by a player, maybe a Let's Player, who wanted to see an interesting outcome, not caring whether or not bodily harm would come to our main character. John knew he was doomed from the start, for he was stuck in a visual novel, and he had no freedom. Why? Huh? Why do you care about me? How can you ask that? You're the best person. The only person. Bullshit. I'm just never a high school boy. No, not even that. I'm worthless. No. Don't say that. It's not true, it's not. I'm broken. My brain doesn't work right, and even the strongest drugs don't make a difference. No, that's not true. John is perfect. How can you say these things? The way her words flow together, addressing him directly one moment and the third person the next, bothered him almost as much as the look in her eyes. Whatever her issue was, it went deep. You're not well, Lizzie. You need help. You said my name. But I can't help you. I'm not worth anything to anyone. Just forget about me and find someone else to care about. No, I can never. You're the only person who matters. But why? You don't even know me. You don't care about me. I'm just part of your problem. No. It would be better if I was gone. Maybe you'd get better then. That's not true. It's not. I love you, John. I have always loved you. I've watched you. Always. You're so good and kind and perfect. And even to a girl like me. He could barely even listen to her words. John found himself wandering closer and closer to the side of the building, and she followed him automatically. You're so sad. But you're still kind. I don't know how. You should be broken, like me. But you... I can't help you. If you want to help yourself, you need to forget about me and get real help. No, don't say that. You're confused. Yes, confused. Poor John is so depressed. He's not thinking straight. He doesn't understand how much I love him. Yeah! He needs my help. I need Salt Snake here right pronto. Get that knife out of your hands. That's what I need. The world froze for a moment as the knife glinted, and all he could do was stare at its edge. And her edgy personality, which was just as sharp as that knife. You just need someone to take care of you. I'll stop everyone who says unkind things about you. No, I should just take you home and keep you there. Safe. Yes, you just need some help. Well, as she got that knife, would she actually use it on him? A second later, John realized that was a foolish thought. This girl had burned down a tree because he said it was stupid. He had no idea if there was any limits of what she might do. And would that really matter? He'd spent nights lying in bed wishing he had never been born, wishing he had a way to end it all. You can't frighten me. John, get away from the edge. It's not safe. He took several steps to the very edge before she could stop him, and turned around to face her. The back end of his shoes hung off the edge of the building, nothing between him and a fatal fall. My life matters so much to you. Stop toying around with me. No, you don't understand. What do you even want? To stab me until I'm yours forever? Is that it? Never. John is so good and kind. I would never need to stab him. Please come away. I'll take good care of you. You can't. Maybe you have good intentions, but you need help. And unless you get it, you could only hurt me. I will. Whatever you want, I promise. Just don't hurt yourself. It was a lie, of course. She was just saying whatever it took to get him to step away from the edge. This is a bit of a surreal situation right now. It was exactly how he imagined it would go. He'd stand at the edge and everyone would say all kinds of lies about how much he mattered to them because they cared for the first time. Not about him, but the idea of him. But the look in her eyes, that couldn't be faked. It might be a twisted love, but she loved him utterly. She needed help too. Maybe he could be the one to help her, assuming she didn't stab him. Or worse. But what the hell was he living for anyway? Lizzie, would you make a promise with me? A promise? I'll step away. I'll talk to you, or let you leave notes in my locker, or whatever it is you want. But you have to listen to me, and get some help. Can you do that? You promise. You promise you won't leave me if I say yes. I won't leave you, Lizzie. John just decided to step forward. Forever. Forever is a very strong word. The answer stuck in his throat and he hesitated, wondering if he wasn't making a mistake and saying too much. But in the end, he swallowed and nodded. Forever. Now set down the knife and oops! As he started to step away, John lost his balance and fell backward. Suddenly, he was in free fall, nothing between him and cold pavement. At that moment, Lizzie lunged forward, insanely fast, and grabbed his wrist. Impossibly, she held him up. Her body was thin, yet somehow she had stopped his fall and held him up with one hand. Love is one strong mistress. Her eyes held a mixture of unstable fear and twisted desire. In that moment, he knew with absolute certainty if he had fallen, she would have thrown herself off after him. You can't die, John. You're the only one. The only one. With that same incredible strength, she pulled him back up to the rooftop, Fortunately, she had left the knife behind when she lunged to catch him, but he was still anxious being so close to her. John almost died. John, I love you. I won't let anything bad happen to you. It was clear she was completely unstable. But was she actually dangerous? She seemed to care about him more than anything. Or was he just so pathetic that he latched onto anyone who showed him the slightest sign of affection? Worthless. You'll keep your promise, right? Of course, of course. Then tomorrow, we'll go talk to someone. See if we can't get you some medication. Is that okay? If it's what John wants, and of course it's okay. Good, then perhaps... But I want more than that. I love you, John. I've told you over and over. Don't you love me too? At least she was asking about the knife in her hand. But was there a good answer to that question? No, he had to think about it logically. She wanted him to answer yes. That just might make her worse. The risk of saying no can be ignored either, though. Making him a save. And then let us do more protagonists because Manly Badass Hero said so. Yes. Lizzie, I don't know you very well yet, but despite all this, I think you're a good person. No, I'm awful. John is just being kind. And not answering the question. Ah! I want to get to know you better, Lizzie. Maybe then I can love you. Ah, he said it. No, that wasn't so terrible of an answer. Terrible in this situation, but wasn't terrible of an answer. John desperately hoped that wasn't a mistake. He hoped this all wasn't a mistake. It totally was. Manly Badass Hero said, as he carefully clutched his hands, expecting something bad to happen. But he hadn't been stabbed yet, and after how today had gone, that was good enough for him. Then, I'll see you later, okay? I'll be watching you. But yes, later. You're not gonna do anything crazy? No! John loves me. That's all that matters. We both need to get class, but we'll talk tomorrow, okay? Okay. The rest of the day was even more of a blur than usual. Everyone's voice is not even echoing in his head. John could hardly believe what he had just done. It all seemed like a dream now. Had Lizzie really pulled a knife on him? Had he really threatened to jump off the school building? It made him wonder if he wasn't the insane one. But no, it had really happened. For better or for worse, he was stuck in this situation. Only when he was headed to bed did John realize that he felt strangely alive. Even better than after his therapy sessions. Maybe it was a brush with death. Maybe it was just having something to think about other than his pathetic existence. But he felt almost good. Maybe that meant he was crazy too. But right now, he was just glad to sleep soundly.